I don't really
understand.
I don't understand. I've got to be honest with you. I don't understand the concept of what non-binary means, or why you would use a plural pronoun to describe a singular person. That makes sense. To me, this is the problem with the whole woke thing. Is it's inexplicable. Nobody really knows what it means. I don't know what you mean by non-binary they, them. There's one of you sitting here, and you look to me female. You're a female?
Okay.
Are you a female?
One question, one answer. That's all it should have taken. But what happened next turned an ordinary live TV discussion into one of the most talked about debate moments on gender identity, biology, and free speech. As Piers Morgan presses for a simple explanation, the conversation quickly shifts from confident claims to uncomfortable exchanges, with Riley Gaines and Blair White adding perspectives that make the debate even more compelling. Whether you agree with the panel or not, this discussion raises larger questions about language, fairness in women's sports, and how difficult conversations should be handled in public. In this video, we'll break down the key moments exactly as they happened, examine the arguments from each side, and let you decide which points were the strongest. If you enjoy thoughtful debate breakdowns without missing the crucial context, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinion in the comments. Now let's jump straight into the debate.
Riley Gaines here. Riley, you and I have talked a lot about this whole issue. It just seems to me what Malcolm Gladwell said is so significant, because he's basically done a complete U-turn on this and understood that even he, one of the smartest brains in the world, got kind of traduced into thinking it was perfectly normal and acceptable for a biological male identifying as a trans woman to compete in women's sport. You yourself, having lost out to a trans athlete in a swimming pool at a high level, understood immediately from that experience that men have superior biology to women. Therefore, if they compete against women, it is grotesquely unfair because they have superior muscle mass, power. Well, surely, hang on. I'll come to you in a second, Riley. Sorry, no, Laurie, just to be clear, you're not disputing men have superior biology, are you?
Superior, I just think it's quite offensive to say that an entire
not really.
People have superior.
There's a reason in the Olympics we have women's sport and men's sport. It's because the men, if they competed against the women, would win everything. Do you understand that?
Okay, I just question your use of the word superior to describe male biology.
Superior biology, their biology, their physical biology means when they're competing in sport, they have superior biology. They have an advantage from their bodies. Do you understand? You accept that?
Let me clarify this. I think superior in strength and athleticism, typically.
Thank you.
And how far they jump and how high they can jump, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If we're talking about biology, I'm about 38 weeks pregnant now, and I would certainly say that my biology compared to my husband's in that way is superior.
And I would agree with you. So why don't we just accept that what I was talking about was superior physical biology in terms of competing in sports. Men are faster, they're stronger, they have more lung capacity and so on. That is why we separate the sexes. That's what we should all agree.
110%. Yeah, I don't take offense to the word superior. Certainly, I believe there are things women are superior at, and certainly I believe there are things that men are superior at. I don't think this is something to, again, say that women are less than necessarily, but just to, again, reiterate the fact that women and men are very much different. I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that. And so to your point, Piers, this comment that was said by Michael, you said now he's come out and kind of done this full 180 here. I don't think he ever believed that women or that men should be in women's sports. He's just now finally courageous enough, if that's the word you can even use. It's amazing to me. It requires courage to publicly declare that men and women are different. What a sad state that we are living in, where it requires courage or bravery to say such. But that's the case that many, many people have felt over the past, I would certainly say 5-6 years. But as indicated, really, this has been going on much longer than that. So that's my thoughts on that. The majority of, I'll speak for the American people, the majority of American people, as proven by every single Gallup poll, whether even in states like California, I believe they had 40% of voters turn out in support of Donald Trump. Even still, I believe it was 70% of people said that men shouldn't be in women's sports. So this is like a no-brainer for most people. I want to go back really quickly to what we're talking about on the free speech side of things. If you can remember, Piers, I was physically attacked,
you were.
like violently attacked by a mob of radical, psychotic, crazy trans activists who kidnapped me and held me hostage for 5 hours, all while our police force sat and did nothing, as they said they couldn't. They weren't allowed to, because they weren't allowed to be seen as anything other than an ally to that community, or else they would lose their jobs. So I absolutely and entirely reject the notion that there is a double standard that is in favor of people like me. That is not at all what we have seen. Again, people who unapologetically speak the truth.
No, what we've seen is people like you and J.K. Rowling and other women who put their head over the parapet to fight this battle to protect women's rights. And that's what the battle was really about. It wasn't anti-trans. It was with some people. There are transphobic people out there. I don't doubt that for a moment.
Well,
there are always. But here's the point I'm going to make: is that of course there are, but actually the core debate for me certainly, and I think for you, was that you wanted to protect women's rights to fairness, equality and safety, and particularly in the sport issue, but also in the case of, for example, the male rapist in Scotland, who suddenly, having been convicted, puts his hand up and says, I'm now a woman, and gets put in a women's prison, which led to the series of events that led to Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister, actually having to resign because people were like, you're a woman, you're allowing this? You're putting the fox in the hen coop to attack other women because he just put his hand up to game the system? That is what offended people. You put your hand up. Very polite of you, by the way. Thank you. What would you like to say?
I'm just confused because I was told I was being brought on to discuss a free speech issue and an issue about whether or not it should be okay to incite violence against a protected minority group like transgender people. But we seem to now be talking about whether or not it's okay to be transphobic.
Well, no, because the whole... Let me explain that. No, hang on. Let me just explain, because Laurie's raised a point. The point is that Graham Linehan's become the poster boy, for abuse and shaming and attacks and vilification
He does do that a lot.
and cancellation. He has become the poster boy for this stuff for many years. It's ruined his life, it ruined his marriage, it ruined his career. And at the core of his argument was that biological men who identify as trans women should not be in women's spaces. And I agree with him, and Malcolm Gladwell agrees with him, and Riley Gaines agrees with him. Now, we have got...
Can I jump in?
Well, I was going to bring in Blair, because Blair, you're a YouTube commentator, but you're trans. What do you think about this? I mean, were you offended by Graham Linehan's tweets?
Not at all. First of all, I have to say that it was fascinating listening to you guys talk about free speech as a concept, like as Brits, coming from an American. You know, when she said that she didn't know that free speech covered offensive speech, that's absolutely what it covers. That's the most important part of what it covers.
That's not what I said.
And what did you say exactly then?
I said that I wasn't aware that it was only people who have particular bigoted views who are protected by the notion of free speech. The notion of free speech should protect...
I don't think that's how it's being applied
that,
because he was arrested.
No one's argued that. But the actual point of free
free
speech is you have to tolerate and allow people to say things you don't like. That is the point 100%. Of free speech. Unless you're actually,
and as far as
unless you're actually inciting a crime, and nobody could have read that Graham Linehan tweet and not thought he was just cracking a rather crass joke.
I think a lot of people did think that.
If anything,
directly encouraging.
Well, Blair's a trans woman. Why don't we let her answer?
I'm also transgender.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
okay. Go ahead.
I'm more so
which trans are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm non-binary.
What does that mean?
I'm a non-binary person.
God.
I use they, them person.
So
sorry, are we going to spend... do we really want to spend the rest of this discussing my personal
You're the one who
journey?
mentioned it. I didn't even know.
Well, now you know.
Okay, so now I know. I'm just asking you what that means.
Like, do you really want to discuss this?
You raised the subject of yourself being trans. I'm simply asking
Can I finish my point?
No,
it's always a non-binary
person. It's actually really
over
interesting.
A transsexual.
It's really interesting to me. You raised it, not me. I didn't even know. So now you've raised it. What does that actually mean? What do you mean you're non-binary?
Are you really, really just going to...
Can you explain it?
Are you going to cut Blair off now?
I'm just asking you to explain it. I'll come back to Blair in a moment.
Well, you were the one that cut me off, sis. But I will say that...
Hang on one second, Blair. Sorry, Blair, wait 1 second. I just want to ask, what do you mean by non-binary?
When I say I'm non-binary, I'm expressing my identity in a way that
what does
I have a
that
right
mean?
to do. I'm sorry?
What's your sexuality?
My sexuality.
Yes.
This doesn't have anything to do with my
sexuality.
sexuality.
The UK government now says that people are male or female. The British Prime Minister says people are male or female.
I don't think the UK government should have the final say on how I express
Well,
myself.
they determine the laws of the country.
Treated.
I'm just curious what you mean by non-binary. What does that mean?
I'm curious. Well, firstly,
What are your pronouns?
they, them.
What does that mean? There's only one of you.
What does they, them? Actually, they, them has been, the collective they has been used to refer to individual people for centuries and still is. So, I mean, if you don't understand basic grammar, that's on you.
I don't really understand.
You do.
I don't understand. I've got to be honest with you. I don't understand the concept of what non-binary means or why you would
Neither
use
do
a.
I.
To do with my
Actually, the UK
sexuality.
government now says that people are male or female. The British Prime Minister says people are male or female.
I don't think the UK government should have the final say on how I express
Well,
myself.
they determine the laws
and how
of the
I'm
country.
treated.
I'm just curious what you mean by non-binary. What does that mean?
I'm curious. Well, firstly,
What are your pronouns?
they, them.
What does that mean? There's only one of you.
What does they, them? Actually, they, them has been, the collective they has been used to refer to individual people for centuries and still is. So, I mean, if you don't understand basic grammar, that's on you.
I don't really
think
understand.
you do.
I don't understand. I've got to be honest with you. I don't understand the concept of what non-binary means or why you would
Neither
use
do
a.
I.
To do with my
Actually, the UK
sexuality.
government now says that people are male or female. The British Prime Minister says people are male or female.
I don't think the UK government should have the final say on how I express
Well, they
myself
determine the
and
laws
how
of the
I'm
country.
treated.
I'm just curious what you mean by non-binary. What does that mean?
I'm curious. Well, firstly,
What are your pronouns?
they, them.
What does that mean? There's only one of you.
What does they, them? Actually, they, them has been, the collective they has been used to refer to individual people for centuries and still is. So, I mean, if you don't understand basic grammar, that's on you.
I don't really
think
understand.
you do.
I don't understand. I've got to be honest with you. I don't understand the concept of what non-binary means or why you would
Neither
use
do
a
I, and
or
I'm
why you would
trans,
use a
neither do I.
plural pronoun to describe a singular person. That makes sense. To me, this is the problem with the whole woke thing. Is that it's inexplicable. Nobody really knows what it means. I don't know what you mean by non-binary they, them. There's one of you sitting here, and you look to me female. You're a female?
Okay.
Are you a female?
If you don't understand what non-binary means...
Are you a female?
If you don't understand what non-binary means...
I don't.
Then I'm not sure you're in a position to lead a debate.
So just tell me. Tell me.
But if you can't
I was asking you.
explain it in simple language, then
what is it?
what's the point?
Well, explain what
I can tell you
non-binary is.
exactly what
It
being a
means that my
transsexual
gender
is.
identity is something other than man or woman. I'm
But
a
you accept
non-binary
you're-
individual.
But you accept you're a female.
I don't think that I'm here to discuss the contents of my
You raised
I don't think that's
this whole
appropriate.
thing. I didn't mention
No, I
anything
didn't.
about what you were. You did. You said I'm trans.
This has really become uncomfortably personal.
Has it? You said
it
it, not
has.
me.
If you think this is uncomfortably personal, try undressing in a locker room with a 6'4" naked man.
Right, exactly. That's the
Like, I
point
don't
of
know.
this. It's like, what is
We're having
uncomfortable?
a conversation here, and
All right.
I'm slightly offended because no one asked me my pronouns. So.
Exactly. I think we should get rid of all pronouns. I think they're ridiculous. Blair, let me bring Blair. Let me bring Blair back. Be very patient, Blair. Over to you. You're a trans woman, so let's get back to you.
So
You weren't
to me-
offended by what Graham Linehan said, no?
This debate became memorable not simply because people disagreed, but because it highlighted how differently participants approached the discussion. Some focused on biological distinctions and competitive fairness in women's sports, while others emphasized personal identity and respectful language. At several points, the conversation shifted away from the broader issues and toward disagreements over definitions, illustrating how debates can become difficult when participants don't share the same understanding of key terms. Another major theme was free speech. The panel explored where the line should be drawn between expressing controversial opinions and the social or legal consequences that may follow. Regardless of where viewers stand on these issues, the exchange demonstrates why precise questions, clear definitions, and calm discussion often shape public debates more effectively than emotional exchanges alone. Topics involving gender identity, sports, and free expression continue to generate strong opinions around the world, and conversations like this show just how complex these subjects have become. The value of watching debates like this isn't only to choose a side, but to hear different perspectives, evaluate the reasoning presented, and reach your own informed conclusions. If you found this breakdown interesting, leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more debate analysis, and I'll see you in the next video.
No, I'm offended by the phrase arrested for tweets. You know, as an American, before anything else, the idea that that's something that's happening over there is scary, considering oftentimes what happens there is only a couple years off from happening here, as is the trans kid issue, which is something I've stood against since the beginning. You guys are sort of the canary in the coal mine as far as what laws are coming here. And it really makes me value the free speech that we do have here, and how, you know, even the most uneducated American typically knows that free speech does cover offensive speech. And for me, I'm disgusted that trans is used by the state as a means to bully people and clamp down on free